Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Groundsure podcast. My name's Tom Harvey-James. I'm the Senior Technical Communications Executive and I'm joined today by Mr. Darren Buckley from the Cornwall Chamber of Commerce. Hello.
Yes, good morning. Nice
Yeah.
to and thanks for the invite.
No, not at all. And
Yeah.
at all. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah.
I feel like every event that I go to in Cornwall, I end up bumping into you. And even like if it's not a work event on my days off, I end up bumping into you as well. You're everywhere.
I know.
But now you're here,
Yep.
which is great. We had a chat a few weeks ago and thought we would have a bit of a catch up about B Corp.
Yeah.
Obviously, the chamber are heavily involved with things at the minute,
We
and just really to get your perspective and the chamber's thoughts on a few of the aspects for anybody really that may be considering going down the application process.
Yeah, and again, obviously, Cornwall Chamber of Commerce, we're very heavily involved in the B Corp. We organised with the help of Wildernet, who were one of the main sponsors, to start the B Corp B23, as it was called. What we were trying to do is get 23 businesses in 2023 through B Corp. And when we started the process, we thought, well, it's not going to take 23 businesses to get done in 23 because the process is quite long.
Yeah.
And we thought then you won't be going through that process until 2024. So we just called it B23. And through Wildernet, they organised the 7 or 8 sessions where they brought those people together. And we found, and what Wildernet found, is by bringing those organisations together, they could help each other and grow through that process. Because
Absolutely.
So some businesses will be going down a certain route, and others will be thinking, "What do I need to do?" And they could ask them. So it was a really nice community. It was where they all helped each other to get through that process. And we're moving into 2024 very, very shortly, and a lot of those are really way down the line now, and hopefully those will get through that process in 2024. So we're fully behind the B Corp, and as you're probably aware as well, is that Cornwall has got the highest amount of B Corp organisations outside of London.
Yeah,
So,
and that's something to be really proud of. I mean, you talk about the community, and that's something that we've really experienced. It's not an easy thing to go through, and there's so many unknowns and so many questions. Actually, we turned to loads of local B Corps, both down here in Cornwall and also up in Brighton as well.
Yeah.
And they're just so happy to help.
Yeah.
People's time nowadays
Yeah.
is valuable. It costs money, but
Yeah.
actually, these people are happy to give their time aside to
Yeah.
help support them. I suppose that would be one of the things I'd ask is how important that community is for Cornwall, because it'd be great to be bigger than London. Imagine that.
Yeah, and I don't see why not either. Let's keep pushing forward. And I think that community, like you said, are working together very, very, very tightly at the moment. And there's a lot of mentors out there as well. So there's some large organisations, some smaller organisations who are mentoring businesses who are trying to get through that process. And as you know, it's quite a stringent process. You've got to cross a lot of T's and dot a lot of I's. We talked about this earlier in the green room about having the resource to have somebody work on that fully for you. And I know at the chamber we struggle with that because we're a very small team, and we need somebody to really focus totally on the B Corp to get us through that process.
Yeah,
there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of boxes to tick.
I mean, we were really lucky in that regard that we had like people that were able to dedicate their time to that.
Yeah.
But even with that, it's still a challenge. There's still so many things you have to do, and so the support of local businesses for us and being through it was great for us. I mean, what if there are people out there considering applying or looking into it, maybe even for the first time, hadn't even heard of it, and think, "Oh, what's this?" I mean, where do you start? Where do you begin to even begin on that journey?
And again, we're coming across lots of businesses. How do we start? Where do we start? When do we start? How much is it going to cost? What is the process? And we have got some organisations down here who can help you with that process. Or Leap, so the guy called Matt Hockin at Leap can help you. Obviously, you've got the B23 through Wildernet. They can help you to get on that journey. And and again, as we've just talked about, there's a lot of organisations who can help you get on that journey as well. So it's we're here as a Chamber of Commerce. So if there's a business out there thinking about that journey and jumping on that B Corp train, get in touch with us, and we'll signpost you to those people you need to speak to start that journey. Because, like I said, how, when, where, how much. They'll tell you how to do that, when to do it. I mean, when to do it is now, really. You start as soon as you can. And there's also, that cost implication as well. Maybe taking on a new employee to run that B Corp process for you, or it might be, that time element as well, because we're all busy and I speak to businesses on a daily basis. They're all at 100 miles an hour at the moment. So finding that time but what we're doing very, very well down here in Cornwall is that we're leading from the front. We're not followers. You look across at all the other counties, and as we've already mentioned about London's probably the only one who's got more B Corps in their area. We're leading, so it's fantastic,
it's amazing.
and it's a great place to live and work at the moment, Cornwall. So it's I think there's so much help out there. Use people like us, the Chamber of Commerce. That's what we're there to do, is to support and signpost. But we've got Leap, we've got Wildernet, and we've also got that B Corp community as well, come together on a regular basis where you can get involved with them as well.
And that's something I think we're really proud of. I mean, I know personally from my point of view is it's not necessarily, it's not so much about the certification as it is, but actually for me, it's nice to feel part of that wider thing.
Yes.
So it's less about, at least for me, less about kind of this overall, but actually we're part of this bigger community. And if someone has questions, I would almost feel honoured if they felt that they could come for advice or guidance. Because there's so many unknown hurdles and sticking points that maybe you think, oh, actually, I know it's going to be tough. But if I do X, Y, Z, I can get there. But there's so many unknowns. And it's useful having the fact that, I mean, I was looking at what B Corps we have in Cornwall, and it's quite diverse. I mean, I know there'll be certain elements which are almost specific to an industry. And so, I mean, it's quite nice for us. We're kind of environmental consultants. We have a team of mining expertise as well. And so to be able to have that representation for that side of the industry is really nice. So similarly, there are a couple of law firms.
That's right.
One of them down in Cornwall, which is fantastic. And there's just almost like leaders then in that department, because we've got quite a diverse spread across Cornwall. And being able to signpost to those individuals to help you if you're in a similar industry, I think is fantastic.
It is, and I think obviously you've been through that process now, and congratulations on being a big Corp.
Thank you very much.
I forgot to mention that, so it's another one here in Cornwall, so fantastic. And if you look across all the sectors, like you said, you mentioned lawyers and law firms. I've gone through that process. A lot of, I think, roughly got about every sector covered now across the B Corp status. I'm thoroughly proud of what Cornwall's achieving at the moment. I know Kim is, Kim Conchi, who's our CEO, is very proud of what we're achieving in Cornwall. It's such a great place, and what with geothermal, G7, spaceport, Cornish lithium, all these B Corp,
They're popping up everywhere.
Yeah, and FlexiHex winning that, a national award now with the British Chamber of Commerce, with the sustainable packaging, and they're B Corp as well. Yeah. So they can help you with that process. So
I find that logo is popping up everywhere. It's you get like a new car and you can't stop seeing it everywhere. I notice it all over the place. It's fantastic. It sounds like a really good thing. For across the country, but it's really exciting for Cornwall as a whole. Thank you very much for your time. It was really great speaking to you, and I think actually it's going to be really useful for the listeners just to get a bit of perspective as to where the Chamber stands on it. So thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Tom.
And
appreciate it.
Catch you again soon.
Thanks
for listening, guys.